Well, that was an interesting episode. We started out the first half, maybe a little over half of the episode. I was like, this is a pretty boring episode. But did things ever explode at the end? So let's just get through some of the monotony of the first half of the episode so we can get into the absolute chaos that erupted after the immunity challenge and at tribal council. That was just nuts. So we're back at Koru tribe. That's our new merged tribe. And, we see Nick and Michelle. They really felt like they got blindsided. And I don't blame them because they were the only two that weren't in on the joke. And I understand why people didn't tell them. They don't know how close Nick and Michelle were to Wendell. They don't know if telling the plan to Michelle and Nick would get back to Wendell and then just cause more problems for them. So I fully get where Nick and Michelle were coming from. And also just the overall feeling of that tribe right now is like, hey, let's just get out the weak links. Let's get out the people who have the least connections. And it seems just like a very bizarre strategy to me right now because this is the moment in time when you could take a group of a tight group of 5 people and run the gambit in this game. You could knock people off because there is no cohesion, there's no solidity, there's no formal alliances going on. Everybody has past relationships with each other that just keeps the whole game more fluid. And it's really adding a very bizarre dynamic to what's happening in this game. All right, let's jump over to Edge of Extinction real quick. So they get a new clue. Parv ends up cracking the clue. She recalls back to previous Edge of Extinction where the clue referenced stepping back and someone found the clue on the steps and she looked in the exact same spot and there is her prize. It is the 50-50 power, meaning whoever has it can use it at tribal, flip it like a coin. One side says safe, the other says not safe. You may or may not save yourself. So she gets to offer the power up to somebody and talks with everybody on Edge of Extinctions and determines that Michelle has 4 fire tokens, so probably the most fire tokens. So they offer to sell the power to Michelle for 4 fire tokens. And it sounded like Parv wanted to buy a jar of peanut butter to just feed the people on Edge of Extinction. So good for Parv. I hope that she at least gets to keep some of the tokens for potentially buying power or advantage in the next battle back. All right, so we did have a reward challenge as well today. It was just split into 2 teams, red versus blue. Winner gets Chinese takeout dinner. The only real interesting thing that happened here was Sarah gives up her reward for Nick because it was his birthday. And this kind of really almost backfired on Sarah because immediately everybody's just like, oh, that was a strategic move. That was a strategic move. She just did that for the gameplay. She just did that to garner favor with Nick and make herself look good. And it almost backfired on Sarah to the point where she could have gone home today. And I think that if things would have played out slightly differently, that she would have been the name getting written down by the majority of the people and heading to Edge of Extinction. So from there, we jumped over to Immunity Challenge. And this one was a kind of balanced endurance competition where it was really close between Kim and Ben, but in the end, Kim comes up with immunity. I don't think that immunity really mattered for Kim or Ben, and it's really, at this point in the game, would have just been a luxury for either of them to win. So congratulations to Kim. So, all right, let's get down to all of the craziness. So we go back to Tribe, and people start throwing names around. And it looks, the 2 popular names are Nick and Adam. And Adam is kind of had a fire lit under him all day. Was feeling blindsided from the Wendell vote, was feeling like he's just in the background of other people's games. And he decides, you know what, I'm going to start stirring the pot up. And these names, Nick and Adam, start going around. And all of a sudden, Nick is undermining thing. And he tosses the Sarah name out there. Maybe we should vote Sarah. And saying the things about like, oh, maybe I think Ben and Sarah are too close. And then all of a sudden, like Tyson's name is in the mix. People are targeting Adam. People are set on sending Sarah home, set on sending Nick home. And it seems like the camera, like I feel bad for those camera guys. They would have just been like going crazy, just trying to keep up to all the different conversations. Like there was one point, there was confessional with Adam. And he's like, well, when I walked over here, the plan was this, but I have no idea what the plan will be by the time I get back to camp. Craziness. We also had another scene with Ben and Adam. We had a ridiculous one last week where like these two are working together, but they refuse to work with each other. It's very bizarre. And obviously, like, they're not in an alliance. As much as they want to say they are, they just aren't. Like, they won't even answer questions for each other. Like last week we saw Adam ask, hey Ben, what's the plan? And Ben just blows Adam off. And then this week Ben comes to Adam and he's like, hey, who said this? Who started this? And Adam's just like, I'm not telling you. I will tell you that I heard it from other people. And that was the whole Ben and Sarah thing. And then all of a sudden Ben walks away all pissed off at Adam. It was just crazy. So we now head into tribal, and I had no clue who was going home. I felt like it was probably Nick or Adam, and as we saw, it ends up being Adam. But even at tribal, the chaos just continued. Jeff Probst is trying to ask people questions, and they're just like ignoring him and talking, whispering to each other about who to write down, who to send home. And it was pure mayhem. Adam was really playing this gambit that he thought there was an idol on Jeff's podium. And when it came down to reveal the votes, he tries to play the podium. He tried to play the podium as an idol. And I was just really hoping that it would work, because how legendary would it be that the podium, like Jeff Probst was basically just standing there with an idol. It would have been perfect. But unfortunately for Adam, it was not an idol. And Adam gets voted out. On his way out, Adam gives his tokens to Denise. But what a crazy episode. And you can see with how much chaos there was at camp that all these battle lines that we thought people were drawing in the sand are just BS. The information sharing between all the people who are still in the game is off the chart right now. Like, you tell something to him, he tells something to you, this gets back to you from a different, it's like this ridiculous game of telephone, and he said, she said, and we don't know what's going on. And I really feel like this is the point in the game right now where you could form a small group, 4 or 5 people, and really take control of the game. All you have to do, and this is a big ask, is trust those people. Wow. What a season we have going right now. I'm absolutely loving it. And I can't wait to see how this all plays out. I will be back next week. I might even have some extra Survivor content for you later tonight or even tomorrow. So stick around, and I'll see you later.